My father's brother claimed all my father's properties without giving me a penny. And when I turned 16, he tried taking advantage of me and I ran away from my father's house to the comfort of the streets. Anyway, that's all in the past now and this is the present. I think I am going to drop this plan of mine and maybe God will even bless me. Just in the valley of decision, her phone rang. Simi picked up her phone, checked the screen, and it was Senator Bello calling. She sighed tiredly and picked up the call, hoping he doesn't disappoint her. Hello, Daddy. Good morning. Morning, darling. Hope your night was blissful, he asked. Yes, it was, and thank you so much for asking anyways, she replied. Okay, darling, but I actually called you for a reason. I called to tell you something very important. Simi's fear rose. What might that be? She asked with her voice barely a whisper, with tears clouding her eyes. Why is my world always turning this way? Don't I deserve to be happy? Senator Bello said, I am actually getting old and I don't think I can continue sleeping around with girls like you. And you have been my favorite call girl. Coupled with what you have told me, I don't want you to continue doing this. The tears Simi was holding rolled down freely from her eyes. Senator Bello said, I have sent you 20 million naira and I am sure you will receive the alert immediately after this call. Oh my God. Daddy, thank you so much. Only God will reward you for coming right in time and exceeding my expectation. You're most welcome, my darling. But this might be the last time you will hear from me. And before Simi could say anything, he ended the call. Simi said, Oh God, a sinner like me. So you have been waiting patiently for me to decide. Thank you and thank you. With the money, I am sure I can buy an apartment and open a business for myself. She received the alert and her mouth dropped. She tried calling Senator Bello, but it said the number she was calling doesn't exist. It is not even 20 million naira, but 50 million naira. She kept calling, but it wasn't going through. What? Is this not a miracle? After suffering, God has actually written my story even when I don't merit His mercy. I will have to advise Chidera to stop this prostitution and poke-nosing into someone else's marriage. And if she refuses to listen, I will leave her to face her karma. Lucas was thinking. He left his wife to the living room and a call came in. He picked up. Hello, this is Mr. Lucas Okafor on the line. Please, who am I speaking with? And a familiar voice laughed. Ha ha ha, dude, what's up? It's me, Toby. This is actually my new line. Ah, guy, what happened to your other line? You really got me scared. Toby said to him, I am done being a playboy, so all things have passed away. Behold, Toby has become new. Lucas didn't know when he busted into laughter and he asked, Do you have who you want to settle down with now? And Toby replied, I am actually dating your wife's cousin, Gina. Wow, Lucas exclaimed. Congratulations, guy, and I wish you the best, man. Thank you, dude. Just wanted you to have my new number, Toby said and ended the call. Immediately, the doorbell rang. Ugoma, who had been looking for her husband, came to the living room and saw Lucas already at the door. He opened the door and saw his gateman. What's the matter? He asked. Oga, there is this lady outside the gate. She says she wants to see you. Okay, let her in. The gateman left and he went in to meet his wife and carried her on his laps. The lady walked in because Lucas left the door opened. It was Blessing, his ex-girlfriend. She said, Lucas, who the hell is this bitch? Oh, Blessing, I didn't even notice you were the one. My bad. Wow, What are you doing in Nigeria? Blessing replied, I came to see you, but that doesn't answer my question. Well, Blessing, this is my very beautiful wife, Ugoma. And Jewel, this is Blessing, my ex-girlfriend. And Ugoma asks, you mean the one you told me dumped you? Exactly, Lucas replied. And Ugoma said, well, Blessing, not nice meeting you. Don't you know you have to knock before coming into someone's house? What? How dare you talk to me in such a manner? Do you know who I am? Blessing fumed in anger. And Ugoma smiled like an Odogu's wife and said, why won't I talk to you the way I want? You are standing right in my house, and in the first place, you weren't invited. Blessing was about saying something when Lucas cut her off and asked with a cold face, Blessing, what are you doing in my house? And Blessing said softly, actually, babe, I am here to beg for your forgiveness. I am really sorry for taking you for granted. Okay, I have heard you. God bless you, Lucas replied. And Blessing continued, I would like us to return to the way we used to be before, please. Lucas busted into hilarious laughter. Ugoma was angry and he calmed her down by kissing her neck, which made her smile. He said to Blessing, well, I was never angry with you. You chased me away because of your Anthony, and that made me see this beautiful woman in front of me. But you are still in love with me, right? Blessing asked. Story! Lucas replied. The truth is, I was never in love with you, and I think you have overstayed your welcome. Leave my house or I call the security to throw you out. You dare not, Blessing said. Immediately, Lucas called his gateman. He ran in and said, yes, Oga. Throw this mad woman out of my house, Lucas ordered. And like a flash, the gateman carried her on his shoulder outside, and Blessing kept shouting, Lucas, Lucas, I still love you. But Lucas ignored her completely. When she was dropped outside the gates, she got back to the hotel immediately very angry. She said, I, Blessing Donald, was thrown out of Lucas's house like an animal. I blame Anthony for this. If he didn't dump me, I wouldn't have gone back to him. I can't give up, not now, not even tomorrow. If it means getting his wife out of the picture, I will. Her phone started ringing and she checked the caller. It was her mom. She picked up immediately. Hello, Mom. Blessing. So after all our warnings, you still went down to Nigeria? The mother asked. The spoilt brat said, Mom, can you imagine that Lucas threw me out of his house because I asked for us to come back together? Her mom said to her, he was even easy on you. He would have handed you over to the police. I give you 24 hours to return back to America or get ready to feel my wrath, she said and ended the call. Never, Blessing said. I am never gonna give up on my Lucas without a fight. Lucas, it is either you come back to me or you lose your precious wife. Later that evening, Chidera was very happy because one of the men told her that Lucas's ex-girlfriend was in town, and so they will use her as an instrument to clear Ugoma off. This was when she ordered a cab and happily went home. When she entered, she saw Simi packing her things and she asked, Bestie, what's up? What's happening? And Simi said, I am fine. But this one you're looking happy. What happened? And Chidera said, you are aware those men missed their targets and that my good-for-nothing cousin sister is still alive, right? But guess what? Lucas's ex-girlfriend is now in Nigeria to beg for Lucas's forgiveness. And I think I will join forces with her. And when my stupid cousin is out of the picture, I will report her and Lucas will be mine. Simi sighed softly and said, Chidera, you see, as a friend, I will advise you to leave Lucas and his wife alone. But if you insist to continue like a coconut head, please count me out from all your plans. Chidera became confused and asked, Simi, what are you even saying? You see, Chidera, the girl in question has suffered enough for you to let her have peace in her marriage. This statement made Chidera angry, and she said, I am not giving up, my dear, not now. I have gone too far to give up now. Simi shook her head and said, well, it is your choice, but when it starts to backfire, just remember I warned you. This she said, zipping her last bag, and some men came into the house and started taking her bags out. And Chidera asked, are you leaving? And boldly Simi replied, yes, I am, and I am no longer into prostitution. I need to start planning my future. This is 400,000 naira. Take it. It is the balance of your 700,000 naira. I have already paid your daily rent for 2 months. That's all I can do as a friend. She left without looking back. Chidera was very angry, and she said she has now joined the list of people I will deal with when Lucas eventually get married to me. I will go and meet his ex-girlfriend tomorrow. Simi can go to hell for all I care. Pot calling kettle black. After meditating for a while, she stood up from her bed. She was still very angry. She said, Simi was never my friend, because if she was, she will support me in every decision I make. To think that she even advised me on how to live my life, when hers isn't better than mine. In fact, I am 100% better than her. At least I have a father, 2 useless sisters, and a husband snatcher cousin. But what does she have? Nothing. Even if I go broke that I can't pay my bills, I can just go back to the village and my dad will accept me with open arms. But where will she go to if she gets broke? Of course, under the bridge with her fellow homeless people. I might still see her at the clubhouse today. Wait a second. Did she also tell me she's no longer into the business? Well, that's her business. For me, I have grown to love this business and I don't care what anyone says. She entered into the bathroom to have a bath because she still needs more money. She was still in the bathroom when one of the girls said, your phone is ringing. She came out to see who was calling. Immediately she saw the caller. She hissed, why on earth is Gina calling me? Or does she want to mock me again? After a while of contemplating whether to take the call or not, she finally picked up and said, really, Gina, why are you calling my line? And Gina, the weapon fashioned against her, said, hey, big sis, I called to tell you that school is resuming soon. And Chidera hissed and asked, how does that involve me now? If you are going to school, go and stop announcing it. And Gina, the troubleshooter, said, I was hoping you can help us with some money because Papa is kind of broke. And Chidera laughed mockingly and said, see who is begging me for money. Almighty Gina. Anyway, I don't have money to spend on sharp mouths like you. Chidera was expecting her to beg, but instead they bursted into hilarious laughter. Yes, they, Gina and Nena. And Gina said, Chidera, do you even think that I, Gina, would ever come to beg you for money when I know you are busy collecting all-round infections, known and unknown, in small, medium and large quantities as an ashawo? Bia, Gina, are you in any way insulting me? Chidera asked in anger. Why won't I insult you? When Ugoma, that Papa maltreated badly, sent us 200,000 naira monthly for upkeep, why you, that Papa spent money on to train in the university, is busy sleeping with men, huh? This made Chidera so jealous. And Gina continued, anyway, I called to advise you to continue. You studied marketing, and there are so many firms that want marketers, but you are bigger than them all because you are a babola. You chose to market your body instead. My sister, continue. After all, the Bible said if you're doing good, continue, and if you're doing bad, continue also. And Nena added, one more thing, big sis. You'll be there marketing your body while we get married. Osi get married, Chidera laughed and hissed. And Gina said, okay now, let me bust your bubbles. Nena is dating Lucas's brother that is based abroad. And if you want to know my Prince Charming, just log into IG and type Toby, T-O-B-I. My sister, feed your eyes and soak your pillow with tears because you must surely cry. Immediately she said this, she hung up. Chidera groaned angrily. Why is my life this way, eh? This made her more desperate to get Lucas. Few hours later, she was already at the club, but everywhere was just so dry. All those semi sugar daddies were nowhere to be found, quite unusual. She was feeling disappointed when she saw someone and her heart lit up in joy. She left her position and started walking towards where she was sitting at the bar area. Ugoma and Lucas were in the living room seeing an interesting movie when Lucas's phone rang. He picked up his phone, smiled and ignored the call. Who is calling? Ugoma asked. It is Mama, and please switch off your phone if you are not ready for her grandchildren's sermon this night. Ugoma laughed and immediately switched off her phone. Blessing was still angry, this time in another level. She was imagining another woman with her Lucas, and to make matters worse, for the first time in her life, her parents are against her decision. She said, I must get Lucas and that's final. If I could kill 3 bitches because of Anthony, then who is that bitch that I can't kill? I shot Anthony's first fiancée on her engagement night. I stabbed his recent girlfriend with a knife for 20 good times. That bitch I saw is just too small for me to handle. Her thoughts were making her go crazy and she decided to get laid off by going to the club. Few minutes later, she was sitting at the bar drinking a bottle of whiskey when a lady came to her. Hey dear, it's like you're new here. Anyway, my name is Chidera, extending her hand for a handshake, and Blessing scoffed. Hey bitch, yeah, I'm new here and I came back from America for my boyfriend, or will I say my ex, and another bitch has already occupied my space. This sent a signal to Chidera and she said, oh, that's bad. And what's the name of your ex, if I may ask? This made Blessing look at her suspiciously. And she said, why ask, you bitch? And Chidera said with a smile, I might be able to help you out, you know. Actually, his name is Lucas. What? You mean Lucas Okafor? Yeah, you know him? Blessing asked sharply. Yes, I know him. He is actually married to my cousin, and I hate the sight of her. You know what? Anything your plans are, I am in. If it includes hurting her, I am also in. This made Blessing smile and said, I think I have found a partner. Nkole sat in a corner and said, so both Lucas and Ugoma have refused to pick my call or reply my messages on WhatsApp. Maybe they think I am playing when I said I want grandchildren. Let them wait for me, because whether they like it or not, they must give me grandchildren. First thing tomorrow morning, I am going down to the city to pay them a surprise visit. I want to hear Ugoma screaming under Lucas, so I'll be satisfied that my grandchildren are on the way. Enough of all these long talks. My grandchildren, tomorrow I am going to hasten your coming. In fact, let me go and start packing my bags. Ugoma woke up the next day and was trying to get up from the bed to start her daily activities since it was Saturday. But she noticed Lucas's strong hands were wrapped around her body. She tried freeing herself from his grip and finally she escaped. Few hours later, she was done with all her activities and was about going in to call Lucas for them to eat when she heard the doorbell. She decided to answer the door first. She saw a woman at the door. Who could she be, she thought. Good afternoon, madam. Please, how may I help you? She asked politely. Oh, morning, young lady. Please, is Mr. Lucas in? Because I'm actually here to see him. Yes, he is, Ugoma replied and opened the door for her to get in. Please make yourself comfortable while I go in to fetch him. Oh, thank you, darling, the woman said and sat down on one of the single couches in the living room. And please, madam, who should I tell him is looking for him? Ugoma asked. Just tell him Mrs. Ann. He will understand, she replied. Ugoma nodded and left. When she got to the room, Lucas was fully awake and dressed. He greeted and said, I woke up and couldn't see you in bed. Yes, you didn't see me because I have to do my wifely duties, Ugoma replied. He smiled and his stomach grumbled, making him ask if food was ready. Ugoma said, Of course yes, but there is a woman downstairs waiting for you, Mrs. Ann by name. Oh, let's go downstairs. I don't want to keep her waiting, Lucas replied. When they got to the living room, Mrs. Ann was sitting with her legs crossed. Lucas smiled and said, This woman has tease. She reminds me of Mama so much. Two different people with the same character. He greeted, Good afternoon, Mrs. Ann, and how are you doing today? Splendid, amazing and fantastic, my darling, Mrs. Ann replied. Lucas almost started laughing. This woman and grandma, but he controlled himself and said, That's lovely, ma. Please, in order not to waste your time, this is my wife, Ugoma. And Joel, this is Mrs. Ann, your private teacher. Wow! I never knew this beauty is your wife. Nice to meet you, darling, and our class will commence tomorrow. Ugoma was surprised. This is a pleasant surprise. She said to the woman, Okay, ma, I'll be looking forward to that. Mrs. Ann smiled, stood up and said, Lucas, I will take my leave now. Okay, ma, Lucas replied and she left. Immediately he closed the door. Ugoma hugged him from behind and said, My king, thank you so much. I don't know how to thank you enough. God has used you to change my life and I will be forever grateful. Lucas asked, My love, do you know one thing that will cause problem between the two of us? No, Ugoma replied, looking worried. That's if you ever tell me thank you again, because I am your husband and you are my wife. Whatever I am doing for you, I am doing for myself. Ugoma was short of words and she hugged him tight. Now, can we go and eat? Because I'm starving, Lucas said. And Ugoma laughed and dragged him to the dining. Hours later, he was sitting in the living room watching a movie with Ugoma sleeping on his laps. He looked at her sleepy face and a grateful smile appeared on his face. He was so happy his mother made him marry Ugoma because she's everything a man desires in a woman. Still wallowing in his beautiful thoughts, the doorbell rang so loud, waking Ugoma up. Oh, who is that? He asked angrily. He walked to the door and immediately he opened. His mother pushed him out of her way and walked in. Mama, you did not tell me you were coming, Lucas said, looking so confused. How was I going to tell you when the two of you refused to take my calls, eh? Nkoli said with her hands on her waist. And Ugoma started laughing, and Mama shot her a glance. Nobody told her to close her mouth with her two hands. Mama, you that? Lucas was about saying something when Mama cut him off with, close your dirty mouth. Since the two of you have refused to give me grandchildren, I am here to make it happen. I want you people to go inside and start making babies right now. This took the couple by surprise. But Mama, Ugoma was about saying something when Mama opened her bag and brought out a long cane. These children don't know I came prepared. And before she could flog them, they ran upstairs to their room. And Nkoli said, Hey, make babies. So the two of them heard it and started laughing. Are you sure you are ready for the next episode? No, I'm not sure. Because the next episode, you are going to laugh and laugh and laugh. Please like, share, and subscribe. Till I bring the next episode, it is a goodbye from here, and God bless you.